For personal development, leading and managing section of Informed Eyes Weekly Business Insight for the week 410, July 18 to 24, 2025. We curated and summarized articles from two business magazines. The first article from Forbes described what theater can teach leaders about communication. The second article from Fortune shares Apple's Tim Cook is under pressure, but there are a few key reasons leadership experts think he is still the guy for the job. First from Forbes.
What Theater Can Teach Leaders About Communication, written by Mercedes Seguirre-Amat, published by Forbes magazine on July 21, 2025. When business leaders present, they often set their emotions aside in an attempt to seem more professional. But we are emotional beings. Everything that goes through our hearts and minds influences how we express ourselves. And what is theater if not a form of communication based on emotions? Actors are experts in emotion-driven communication, so there is a connection between theater and business, since we all want the same thing when we speak. Whether actor or business executive, actor or non-actor, we want to connect, empathize, and touch the hearts and minds of our listeners. That's why theater can help us express ourselves better, with passion, conviction, and fun. Managers who understand that they are actors on the stage of life prepare to deliver the best version of themselves, and like good stage directors, leave nothing to chance. From the script to the scenery, costume design, or connection with the audience. All of this enhances their performance. Let's look at how. 4 lessons from theater to communicate like a leader. 1. Prepare the content. This process entails much more than putting together a slide deck in PowerPoint, since that should only cover the key headlines and figures, not the entire message. Use the notes section of each slide to jot down key sentences you don't want to forget with the exact wording you want to use. The slides are part of the scenery, a backdrop to embellish your performance, not something to be read from. 2. Rehearse in advance. The more prepared you are, the more relaxed you will be. Have doubts? Rehearse. Afraid you'll forget something? Rehearse. Worried you won't be persuasive enough? Rehearse more. Rehearsing prepares you for the unexpected, because things don't always go according to plan. And don't think that rehearsing will make you sound less natural, because even naturalness takes practice. You need to rehearse in order to leave room for improvisation. Rehearsing consists of 3 stages: text rehearsal, physical rehearsal, and technical rehearsal. 3. Tap into the audience's emotion. Are you going to tell a story or give a report? It doesn't matter what industry you're in, as a leader, you're a storyteller. No matter how technical your presentation is, no matter how many figures and analysis you are dealing with, if you want the audience to tune in and connect, you need to tell a story. Because humans are social creatures, and stories allow us to empathize and understand complex situations. Stories evoke emotions, joy, fear, surprise, sadness, and memory is closely linked to emotions. 4. Relax and focus to overcome any pre-performance jitters through a deep abdominal breathing. Going on stage is a thrilling but challenging experience because it is not a natural act. It causes our adrenaline to surge, triggering direct physical responses. Our voice trembles, our hands sweat, our hearts race, our movements become jumpy, etc. How can we appear relaxed and self-assured in front of an audience? Before performing, take 3 long, slow, deep abdominal breaths. And don't start until the sweat subsides. Better to let the audience wait just a bit longer than to step out feeling like a nervous wreck. 3 key takeaways from the article. 1. Whether actor or business executive, actor or non-actor, we want to connect, empathize, and touch the hearts and minds of our listeners. That's why theater can help us express ourselves better with passion, conviction, and fun. 2. Managers who understand that they're actors on the stage of life prepare to deliver the best version of themselves, and like good stage directors, leave nothing to chance, from the script to the scenery, costume design, or connection with the audience. All of this enhances their performance. 3. 4 lessons from theater to communicate like a leader. Prepare the content. Rehearse in advance, textual, physical, and technical. Tap into the audience's emotion by telling the stories, and relax and focus to overcome any pre-performance jitters through deep abdominal breathing.
Apple's Tim Cook is under pressure, but there are a few key reasons leadership experts think he is still the guy for the job. Written by Jeff Colvin, published by Fortune on July 22, 2025. Is it time for Apple CEO Tim Cook to clean out his office? You might think so after the past few weeks, but top expert on CEO succession council settling down and looking at the big picture. It shows why Cook might remain CEO for years and why that mean even be the best course for Apple. The recent depressing news included a top Apple AI executive's defection to Meta just weeks after another high-level AI researcher had left, especially painful because Apple is widely seen as a laggard in the world's hottest technology, AI. Last month, Apple's annual worldwide developer conference, often a scene of breathtaking new products or services, was a snoozer, said Wetbush analyst Don Ives. While stock of Microsoft and Alphabet are hitting new high, Apple is down 16% this year. By earlier standards, Cook would have been on his way out in any case. In August, he will have been CEO for 14 years, and in November, he turned 65. But 65 is nothing special anymore, and no boards of directors will hurry to dispatch a CEO who created far more shareholder value than his legendary predecessor, Steve Jobs, ever did. At least in theory, the options for Cook and the board are wide open. So, what should Cook and the board do? Apple's competitive environment now, two things are happening in parallel. One is AI, which is a much bigger deal than the internet was. The second thing is the evolution of the hardware. There's a good enough problem. Those two things in combination make for a more challenging environment for Apple. At the same time, some can see a temporary upside for Apple. They don't have the existential threat that Google has from AI. Apple still has the platform. They're not losing revenue in that exchange. So if you look at where they make money, they actually don't need a quick entry into AI. Still, the clock has been ticking for a while. When might Cook be thinking of stepping down? That's really the foundational question. If it's 2 years, are there any outsider who could plausibly come in? Are there any boomerang people who could come back from outside of Apple? Apple is less likely to go outside because of the cultural history of outsiders at Apple. It's almost revered, the story of how outsiders almost killed Apple. We hear pretty consistently that Cook is thinking of an age 68 to 70 timeline. He feels that with AI, there's some unfinished business. What kind of executive will Cook's successor be? The common wisdom is that they really need a product visionary as opposed to the operational genius that he was. Bottom line, what is the big picture assessment of Tim Cook? For this, the author turns to a business historian, Richard Tedlow, an emeritus professor at the Harvard Business School. Like any professor, he asks questions. He starts by asking 5 crucial questions about Apple. Does it satisfy customers? Does it come from behind? Does it have a powerful corporate culture? Is it willing to admit mistakes? Does it have an imagination of disaster, a realization that things could go badly wrong? Approvingly, he answers yes to all. 3 key takeaways from the article. 1. Is it time for Apple CEO Tim Cook to clean out his office? You might think so after the past few weeks. But top expert on CEO succession council settling down and looking at the big picture. It shows why Cook might remain CEO for years and why that might even be the best course for Apple. Two things are happening in parallel. One is AI, which is a much bigger deal than the internet was. The second thing is the evolution of the hardware. There is a good enough problem. Those two things in combination make for a more challenging environment for Apple. At the same time, some can see a temporary upside for Apple. They don't have the existential threat that Google has from AI. 3. 5 crucial questions about Apple. Does it satisfy customer? Does it come from behind? Does it have a powerful corporate culture? Is it willing to admit mistake? Does it have an imagination of disaster? A realization that things could go badly wrong? And it's yes to all, giving a thumbs up for the continuation of Tim Cook.